What's up everyone, China Cycling here. That banging intro you just saw was shot on this, the Insta360 X2. And this, the all new third-person handlebar mount. Now the X2 has been out for over a year now, and it's one of Insta360's many action cameras. Now I personally have been a loyal paying Insta360 customer since the 1R, but this video is sponsored by Insta360. So I want to say thank you to them for supporting the channel and sending over this handlebar mount. I've had this mount for about 5 days now, and as well as the intro you just saw, I also put together this little montage. Check it out. Now the Insta360 camera lineup is very broad, but I think this one, the X2, is kind of like the go-to option for cyclists. It's pretty small, it's versatile, the screen is easy to use in bright daylight, and it's waterproof, so you never have to worry about the weather changing when you're out riding. Now, if you don't know what it is, essentially there are two 180-degree cameras back to back, so they're capturing a full 360 degrees of your environment, which means when you're out riding, all you have to do is press record and it does the rest. Now, when you get home after your ride, you can use either the phone app or the desktop software to reframe the shot so you'd never miss out on any action. Also, because of the way you have these two back to back, it means anything here, like a selfie stick, will be invisible in the footage. So that's how you get those cool shots of from the front looking back at yourself and you can't see the stick. Now, one issue has always been how to mount the camera. You've always been able to mount it on your handlebars, but then that was always too close to you. So either the footage would be really distorted or you'd have some nasty like up the nose shot of the action. I also saw lots of people, myself included, would use a GoPro adapter mount to attach the camera to like the bottom of your Garmin or GPS computer mount. But this was never really reliable because GPS mounts are only designed to attach like a GPS and maybe like a camera underneath it. So as soon as you start putting stuff further away and then putting selfie sticks or extenders, the leverage on that, it just wasn't designed to take. So either it's gonna slowly droop down over time, or worst case scenario, the mount itself is actually gonna snap and break, sending your nice expensive camera rolling on the floor. Do not ask me how I know. So this then should be a solution to all of those problems. So let's take a look at it. So let's do the unboxing and the weigh-in and all that good stuff. So the box, fairly decent size. That'll crack it. And boom. So in the box, we get this, the carbon fiber selfie stick. That's light. Let me see how light that is. So we have 19 grams. 19 grams for the selfie stick, and then we have the plastic mount part with the adjustable handlebar mount and instructions, which I'm sure no one's going to read, and a small little bag with a spare crush washer and a spare nut in case you lose yours. So here we have the mount itself. Let's see how much the mount itself weighs. So 130 grams. So 130 grams for the mount, and then we'll put this guy in here too. 156 grams, 156 grams. So 156 grams for the full mount is what you're going to be adding. A big sturdy clamp. Obviously, as I said before, the load of having a camera that far away from your handlebar is actually quite a lot of load. So it has to be pretty beefy to take that load and to stop it spinning on your handlebars. In all the testing I did on this, on all of the different bikes, not once did this drop down. So I think that's testimony. And like I say, you just tighten them and loosen them with these little thumb screws, no tools needed, and and that is all the grip that you need. The inside of the handlebar mount is actually a nice rubber, so you don't worry about taking chunks out of your nice carbon bar or whatever. This is obviously going to help it to grip more, stop it spin, and also means you don't have to clamp it down to the point that you're going to break anything. I was doing these as tight as I could with my hands. Again, I don't have the strongest hands in the world, but again, I don't think you're going to crush anything that you shouldn't crush, especially with this little rubber in here. So when it's on your handlebars like this, the bars here, this is pointing out to the front, you're gonna have this guy loosened, you're gonna put this guy up, and a little selfie stick is gonna screw on here. Like I said, there's the crush washer down here, which is gonna hopefully stop it from coming loose. And then the camera itself, we can mount on the thread here. Again, I'm using the One X2, which is what this is primarily designed for, but you can use any of the other Insta360 360 cameras. I was also thinking you could actually use the Go 2 as well, a really tiny camera that could screw on here and get a nice shot of you as you're riding. Now this is the little piece that I wish Insta360 included, but they don't, so you're gonna have to get one yourself. This is a GoPro to Garmin adapter. So again, the top GoPro mount here, I just put that in there, then use a standard GoPro mount style screw in there, and then Garmin mount, or in my case, iGPS computer, put in there, get your angle right, and then tighten it down. Again, on the bottom, you have another GoPro style mount. As I said, on mine, I mounted my Ferre light, which sits in there. Again, another GoPro mount bolt goes through here. And that's the setup I end up with. So bike computer on the top, carbon selfie stick in the middle, and light at the bottom. Like I say, you can switch that light out for another camera or whatever you want. The choice is yours. The sound isn't gonna be the greatest. I'm doing 32 Ks an hour here. And it's a pretty windy day, I guess. We'll see at 32 Ks. Most of the wind comes from you moving anyway. But yeah, I imagine you can kind of hear what I'm saying. But it's probably not something you want to listen to for a very long time. Oh shit. One other thing you can do if you want to go for like cinematographer, vlogger, bike pack or whatever, there are those mounts that turn one GoPro mount into two GoPro mounts. So I put one of those on, and then essentially you can double the number of stuff that you can mount. So I had my GPS bike computer and another camera, or you could put your phone on there or whatever else. So yeah, I think this is a really strong base, and so why not take advantage of it by mounting as much stuff on it as you can. Like I say, 156 grams for the mount, but you don't have to use your GPS mount, so you can take off the weight of whatever your GPS mount is as well. Really steady construction, and once you're used to it, you can get it on and off your bike in about 20 seconds with just, like I say, these two screws. Obviously the distance between these two is set, so you're gonna have to make sure your stem fits in there. But like I said, I tried it with a whole bunch of bikes and no problems. Even my gravel bike, which has riser bars, I was worried that this is gonna interfere with the riser bar, but just because these are so flexible in the diameter that they can take, it was no problem whatsoever. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is if you have an integrated cockpit, like what we have on the T1500, you're not going to be able to mount this on your carbon integrated handlebars. This is only going to work with a traditional bar and stem setup or any bar that is a round bar. So if you have an arrow-shaped bar or anything else that's too chunky and too quirky, this will not work. But your standard road bike bars, your standard mountain bike bars, your commuter bars, my Brompton bars, even my daughter's bike bars, absolutely no problem. So just beware of that. I've used this on a whole bunch of different bikes. My SLC road bike, my Colnago road bike, my Woltley titanium bike, my son's road bike, my son's mountain bike, even my daughter's little bike can take this thing. Any bike that has a really thin handlebar too, like my Chinese Brompton, also no problem. So once you've got it attached on your handlebar, there are kind of like three components to it. At the top, you have a GoPro style mount. At the bottom, you have a GoPro style mount. And then in the middle, you have this threaded mount, the same as any tripod thread. And it's onto that tripod thread that the carbon fiber selfie stick attaches. Now this obviously carbon fiber, super light. which helps to alleviate what I said before about having too much weight hanging off the edge. But also it means it can be nice and stiff, but also vibration dampening, so it doesn't get too much vibration going through the footage. Personally, I found it to be the right balance of stiffness and compliance. Insta360 do say don't ride this on rough terrain. It's not designed for gravel or mountain bike or anything. It's for road riding. But I've taken it on some fairly rough surfaces. I've also done bunny hops on it, and it's been fine. It never falls down. It never droops down. Occasionally it goes doing, 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 but it's always been fine. Now, one thing that you will say is that this is usually the place where your GPS computer mount goes, right? So what are you gonna do about that? Well, there is an option out there, and that is you can get several of these things. There are these little mounts, which on the bottom are a GoPro style mount, and at the top are a GPS computer mount. And then you can attach this to the Insta360 handlebar mount, secure it with a little bolt, and then you have a place for your GPS computer. Adjust the angle you want and tighten the bolt down, and you're good. Now, this little adapter doesn't come with the Insta360 handlebar mount. I wish it did, but either way, they're pretty cheap. I'll put some links below if I can remember. I do recommend going out and getting one of those if you're gonna be running this mount. So yeah, a bit of a bummer that one doesn't come in the box, but definitely go get yourself one. Me personally, on the bottom GoPro mount, at the moment, I have my torch. So this is my super compact ferrite option. I think it looks pretty sleek down there too, and obviously you have lots of adjustability. Also, you could also put another camera down there. So for one day, I was running the Insta360 1R at the bottom, and I was running this, the X2 at the top, or more up at an angle. So this wasn't in any of the footage from the 1R, and it meant I could get 360 footage from this guy, but then also I had the 1R with the 1-inch sensor getting the super high quality footage of the descents and all that stuff. So super versatile, having these essentially 3 different places to mount things. You can mount your lights, you can mount your GPS computer, you can mount other cameras, basically anything that you can mount with a GoPro mount or a tripod thread, you're good to go. The selfie stick is adjustable with its angle, so there's a little screw on here, you adjust the angle and then you bolt it down. Again, it's super easy to do with your hands, don't need any tools, and it's safe. It has like a range of motion that it can wobble in, but then it won't go past that, and you're good to go. Again, you want to adjust it, loosen it, put it a bit further down, and tighten it again. Now, Insta360 recommend you put it at an angle which is like parallel to the ground, and I'd say I would agree with that. But you can get different kind of angles by experimenting with it. So if you put it down close to the wheel, I find you get more of a sense of speed because you're close to the floor. And if you put it up, you get a better shot of what's behind you because obviously you're looking down on the background. But when it's up, it is a bit close to your face, so your face is going to be all up in the camera. So if you look like me, like the back end of a bus, probably not the best idea. So yeah, I say go for Insta360's advice and put it parallel to the ground. Now, so while this is a sponsored video, I'm free to say what I want, and you guys know me, I'm not going to hold back. I will say, like I say about everything, there's no perfect product in the world. Everything can be improved somehow. I'd say the one thing about this, which I think could be improved, is sometimes if you are on rough terrain, you'll notice that the camera slowly starts to unwind itself. Now, it doesn't do this all the time, and there is this kind of like collar screw here, which you can use to try clamp it down. But the collar screw, it's pretty hard to get a good grip on it. Now, the reason the collar screw is so small is because it has to be, otherwise it will come into the footage, so I know why they've done it. But yeah, trying to get a tight enough grip on this to clamp it down can be tough. I imagine if you had gloves on, it would be tough, but once you get used to it and you know what you're doing, and you first tighten this bit and then tighten this bit, you'll find it doesn't spin around. But it would be nicer to have a way to make this a little bit more secure. Mine seems to be like when it's perfect and it won't move all ride. But then every so often I'll have a ride where like it just keeps coming loose like every 5 minutes or so, and I have to lean forwards and tighten it. One thing I will say as well is that the Insta360 has voice activation, so you can tell it to start recording or stop recording, obviously, but also you can just press the button. But one thing I will say is that your muscle memory for pressing the button isn't great. Your hand wants to make a beeline to the button, and there's a few times where I made a beeline to the button and my hand actually hit my handlebars. Again, I don't think this is the fault of the camera, it's more user error. But yeah, make sure when you do press the button, you go in this line and you don't make a bee's line for the button. So yeah, if I am nitpicking, the only 2 flaws I found with it is 1, it sometimes starts to twist around, and number 2, I wish they included the little GPS computer mount in with the box. But it is super cool that Insta360 are supporting cyclists, and it looks like they know what they're doing because they designed something that was lightweight, had options for mounting your GPS computer and stuff, so it seems to know what they're on about. For future ideas, I'd love to see a third-person mount that goes behind the saddle. I think the view that we're all waiting for is kind of like the video game look, where the camera's behind you and you're just riding through an environment. But you can also get a whole bunch of angles with this handlebar mount, so I'm loving this too. So what do I think about this, the handlebar third-person mount? I love it. Like, I think it looks clean, it's lightweight. If you are going on a group ride or whatever and you just quickly want to take this off, I think once you take off the carbon selfie stick, like this bit here, like it's not the ugliest looking thing in the world. You're not going to get laughed at pulling up to any group rides. And then when you want to start getting footage, take this out of your pocket and just screw it back on. You know, it's a well thought out mount with a place to put your GPS and your lights. It's super secure and easy to install without any tools. I think it's a must have for any 360 camera owners. And I think it also might be the final deciding factor for anyone who's kind of on the fence about whether or not to buy a 360 camera. Now, this mount goes on sale today and it retails for $39.99 US. Now, the price isn't the cheapest in the world, but you got to consider it is a carbon fiber selfie stick and it's still cheaper than most of the plastic official GoPro accessories that you can get. So if you are interested in picking one up, please make sure you help the channel out by using the affiliate link down below. That means that if you do make a purchase, I get a little bit of a kickback, and Insta360 will keep listening to us, supporting this channel, and making more bike mount options in the future. So anyway, in all of my future videos, I'm sure you're going to see lots of shots coming from this camera on this mount, so make sure you subscribe so you don't see those. And as always, China Cycling out.